Good morning, everybody, from the wastelands of the internet. I have returned. Yes, once again, I, the Nomad, coming to bring you news. Well, news of the week, and so forth. Right, and we'll see how this goes today. Because I'm by myself. I'm singular today. None of my co-hosts were available at the time. So let's get started, shall we? We're gonna get started right off the bat with this wonderful gem. U.S. national security documents with Ukraine and China secrets turn up in nightmare leak. Classified documents that seem to detail U.S. national security secrets related to the Ukraine, the Middle East, and China have emerged online in what one intelligence official called a nightmare sequence of events. The latest leak, revealed by the stalwart New York Times on Friday, comes on the heels of the Pentagon announcing earlier in the day that it is investigating photos that supposedly expose highly classified plans for a spring military offensive by Ukrainian forces. The new batch of documents surfaced on a message board website 4chan, Twitter, Telegram, and other websites Friday afternoon. The new trove of material also includes secret briefing slides on China, the Indo-Pacific Military Theater, the Middle East, and terrorism, the New York Times reported. More material related to Russia's invasion of Ukraine also appeared on social media sites Friday. One new leaked document is a map that purports to show the status of fierce fighting currently underway in eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, according to the New York Times. So once again, our secrets are outed, and everyone just sits up there and goes, eh. Military classified secrets are outed for everyone to see. Probably from the State Department, I would venture to say. All right, and nobody cares. Nobody seems to care. Officials told the Post Friday the photos show real slides, but some of the information appeared to have been edited. What are you doing? Right? At least 5 photos of printed presentation slides and maps were posted, with 3 of the photos labeled secret and 1 labeled top secret, according to a review by the Post. And who's in charge? The Department of Defense is actively reviewing the matter and has made a formal referral to the Department of Justice for investigation. Okay. So we need to start talking about some of this stuff. Okay. Counterintelligence, which is who should be investigating this. You have a leak of classified information, right? Counterintelligence in the United States is generally conducted by the FBI. But apparently the FBI has been too busy lately, okay, investigating a Trump phone call, which they've already had records of for how many years now? 3 years? All right. Trump and Russia, which they spent 4 years, all right, on a false and known false investigation. And we have real classified information is put out there on social media, out there for everybody to see. And how are we going to get to the bottom of this? Really? Meanwhile, China's been flexing its might, trying to secure peace treaties in the fighting in Yemen, right? Trying to supplant the United States as the biggest player on the international stage, which I know a lot of people think that that would be a bad thing. And for the world, for the rest of the world, it would be. I'm going to be real blunt with you. For the rest of the world, if the United States took a back seat, these idiots would just start shooting at each other. They would all puff up. China would puff up. Russia would puff up. All right? Europe would sit up there and go, help us, help us. There's no helping you anymore. You freaking spit on the United States. You tore down the United States worldwide. You did everything you could to stick a finger in our eye, so when the entire European theater lights on fire again, have at it. China's a different story. Because there's somebody right next to them that can puff up and take them. Especially with the U.S. support. And we would support Japan. Against China, we would support Japan. But as far as what goes on in Europe right now, no one gives a shit. No one's going to give a shit. You see it already. Oh, you hear it in the rhetoric. We got to defend. We got to defend the Ukrainians. Really? Where are the leftists in the streets saying we must defend the Ukrainians? They're not there. Oh, you hear leaders say it. You hear Biden, the criminal Biden, say it. Because it's his big money laundering area. But the American people, you don't see the American people running around crying, saying we have to save the Ukrainians. You don't hear it at all. Because it's not going to happen. I don't know if people understand this, but it's not going to happen. It really is a sad state of affairs, to be honest. Let's get on to the next story, shall we? We have to remain calm. Taipei residents react to Chinese military drills. All right? Really, you have to remain calm. China has been doing a surround Taipei or surround Taiwan, all right, military exercise for 3 days. They announced a 3-day we're going to surround Taiwan exercise. Yeah, just remain calm. We have to remain calm, says the young kid. No, what you need to do is join the military and be armed, or you're going to be a slave. You are going to be another conquered province, and you're going to be brutalized. That's what's going to happen to you. Don't expect the United States to sit up there and be able to help you, especially if we elect leaders like Biden and McConnell, because they won't. The biggest question everybody has right now is whether or not the United States would go to war over Taiwan. Would we try to defend Taiwan? When you have Biden, who's totally beholden to the Ukrainians and China, and they have all the leverage. And you got Americans who sit up there and put these people in, going, well, I don't really know, we should do something about it. Are you going to join the military? No. Why? Well, you want to go out there in the street, bash the fash! Just take a look at them all over in San Francisco. Take a look at them. No. In the United States, we got to be more worried about this. Olympic silver medalist calls for Nike boycott after the retail giant makes Dylan Mulvaney a paid ambassador. Nike continues to receive backlash after transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, deluded male, all right, mentally deluded individual Dylan Mulvaney, Mulvaney, all right, I think it's M-U-L, excuse me, um, who goes out there and posts multiple photos on social media with a women's sports bra and leggings. Yes, leggings, and acts like a complete fool. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, hey, you're not Caitlyn, you're Bruce, okay? You're another deluded individual that has convinced himself to mutilate himself. Now, Mulvaney hasn't done that yet. Mulvaney's wandering around with a full package down there, dancing around and prancing around as if he was a girl, all right? As if he was a small 12-year-old prepubescent girl, all right? Whoa, look at me, look at me. No, you're a deranged, perverted loon. And you're a man. And you'll always be a man. And nothing's gonna change that from you being a man. But no, we gotta bring in Caitlyn Jenner. We gotta bring in Bruce. Bruce Jenner announced the launch of the Fairness First Pack in order to fight the radical gender ideology, put parental rights at the forefront of education, and keep boys out of women's sports. Yeah, that's gonna take it. That's gonna work. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's not here just in the United States. Jensen gave me this article. Labor's Emily Thornberry defends Rishi Sunak attack advert. You'll love this, folks. Labor's Emily Thornberry has defended a party advert which claimed that Rishi Sunak did not think adults convicted of sexually assaulting children should go to prison. The shadow attorney general. I'm sorry, folks. Having enemies of the state, enemies of the nation, all right, side by side in every government facility has led to just absolute chaos as far as I'm concerned. All right. The shadow attorney general insisted that the prime minister was responsible for a broken justice system. Early on Friday, her colleague, Lucy Powell, refused to endorse the ad, but said she stood by the party's campaign. The advert, which has been condemned by politicians from all major parties, senior Tory MP Tobias Ellwood described the ad as appalling and claimed it threatened to undermine the democratic process. We should be better than this. I've called it out on my own for stooping low and do so again now. Dude, let's be perfectly frank here. Okay? Let's be perfectly frank. If you want to do something about this, if you want to sit up there and put an end to this, it's relatively simple. It really is. All you got to do is look at labor and say, you know, you guys sit up there and claim that we're the ones causing this. We're the ones who are allowing sexual assaults to take place, all right, and not producing the crimes. But in reality, this is what you're supporting. It's just that simple, folks. This is what they've been pushing for Children's Story Hour. Or have we forgotten this? Have we forgotten that the people pushing this bullshit, people mentioning this, were all supporting, all right, the rainbow dildo butt monkey, teaching children, all right, 4-year-olds well, it's story time. Have a cookie, and oh, here comes the rainbow monkey. He's got a special liquid for you. Here's his drink. He's got a special drink for all you little boys and girls. This is what they've been pushing. This perverted bullshit is what they've been pushing. And they continue to push it. Now, I could be doing stories like a lot of other people have about how the transgenders in this country are attacking and beating people. The transgenders, right, are attacking schools and killing children. And oh no, but we haven't seen a significant rise in everything. That's because you're not bothering to look for it, mainstream media. Because there's another story, all right, in Colorado where somebody called in saying, well, my brother, who's now goes by the name Lila, all right, he was going to attack a school. And had been planning it for months. And there's even more. You have legislatures all over demanding that these things take place. You have legislators going nuts over it. You want to know what I'm talking about? Well, here, we'll talk about this story right here. Tennessee House expels 2 of 3 Democrats over gun protest. In an extraordinary act of political retaliation, Tennessee Republicans on Thursday expelled 2 Democrat lawmakers from the state legislature for their role in a protest calling for more gun control in the aftermath of the deadly school shooting in Nashville. How about getting the people who need mental health because they're deluded into thinking, I'm a woman in a man's body. All right, why don't you sit up there, or I'm a man in a woman's body. Why don't you take these deluded individuals who obviously can't accept reality, all right, and get them mental health? These deranged, hedonistic perverts, because that's what they are. How about getting them mental health? How about getting them help with their mental health because they're deranged? No. It's the gun. It's the gun. All right, so what do? They sit up there and let brought people in to sit up there and have a January 6th style, we're going to stop the legislature, all right, and go out there and attack, so that people were screaming, shame, shame, and fascist, fascist. All right, yeah, the fascists were the ones, all right, who were doing what? Were the fascists were on the side of what? Oh, that's right, gun control. In fact, they went in there and confiscated all of them. They weren't walking around saying, no, individuals have the right to have self-protection. No, that's not what the fascists do. But these fascists, you're telling us you have the right to protect yourself. How dare you? Think about the children. You mean the ones that you want to sit up there and send the rainbow dildo butt monkey to go visit? Is that the one you want to sit there and play with? Hey, Batman! I see that you said some things. I've been going on a roll here, a little bit of a rant. If you want to come in, let me know. Just say that you want to come in, and I'll open up Discord. I didn't have Discord open. Okay, so I wasn't in Discord. But if you want to come in, you're more than welcome. Let me figure out a way to type here as I tell you to come on in. Oh, jeez. So now we'll have to come into the stream and put myself in there. Let me finish. So hope respond to another post. But yeah, we got Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey just running around, having a good time. And what are you supposed to do about this? Just ignore it? Just continue with it? The stuff doesn't end. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, they kicked out the legislature. They kicked out the legislature. Did you know that you could do that? Did you know in the House of Congress right now, if the House doesn't want to seat a member or wants to expel any member of whatever party, they can vote to do that. They can vote out other members of the chamber. And this has already gone in front of the Supreme Court, by the way, just so people understand it. This has already gone in front of the Supreme Court, all right, and the Supreme Court has upheld it. Now, back to in the case of Tennessee, the two legislatures, the two of the three that they got rid of, were black. The third one that they almost got rid of but survived by a single vote was a white woman. So people, of course, are screaming racism. And to be honest, they kind of have a point. Because to be honest, the woman shouldn't have been allowed in either. All of them were sitting up there doing the little power fist, all right, the little power fist of communism over everything, right, to try and wreck the chamber. All of them should have been kicked out. All three of them. Instead, some boll weevil internally made this look racial, and they did it intentionally. I tell you what, you find the persons who flipped their votes between the two that they got ousted and the third one, and you better get rid of them, because I tell you right now, they're not conservatives. I have no problem kicking these Marxists out. I really don't, because what they were doing had nothing to do with it. It's one thing to sit up there and vote a certain way. It's another thing to just go in there and say, we're going to sit up there and take over the process. There is a process that they're supposed to follow. And these people decided those rules don't apply to them. That they don't have to act civilized. It's one thing to sit up there and argue. It's one thing to yell at one another, even in the chambers. All right? Especially when there's not a session in there, all right, where they're arguing back and forth. That's one thing. It's another thing to sit up there and bring up people to sit up there and start screaming about the voting and try and disrupt the vote and how the House functions. As far as I'm concerned, these people deserved what they got. And once again, it's unprecedented. You know what was also unprecedented? Bringing in a bunch of people to disrupt hearings. Who started that? It's always the same leftist that starts them and then act, I'm a victim, oh, dying cockroach on the ground. Victim! You get tired of this bullshit from these people. And this is what the result is. All this Marxism leads you to the former San Francisco fire commissioner attacked with a crowbar days after Bob Lee was stabbed to death. He's one of the big CEOs. Neighbors of former San Francisco fire commissioner Don Carignani, all right, I can't remember to pronounce your name, I'm not trying to butcher it, said no one is safe in the city after he was brutally attacked by a transient with a metal crowbar just steps away from his family's front door. Don was attacked a day after Cash App founder Bob Lee was stabbed to death by an unknown assailant early Tuesday morning. Don, 53, was leaving his mother's home about 7 p.m. in the Marina district when he was accosted by a man waving an industrial metal crowbar. I'm not sure what an industrial metal crowbar looks like. All right. Friends of the ex-commissioner told the Post. The San Francisco police later arrested Garrett Doty, 24, who was booked on assault with a deadly weapon. Joe Alioto Verones, I don't get it. A prominent attorney and friend said Don was at his mother's home when he noticed Doty and two other transients blocking the driveway. When Don asked him to move, he was bludgeoned in the back of the head by Doty, which injured the former smoke eater's skull and brain. No kidding. Doty was actually seen swinging the pipe and walking around the neighborhood after the attack. It's dangerous out here, and the fact that this could happen to a big guy like Don tells us it could happen to anybody in the neighborhoods of San Francisco. No shit. The fact that even Paul Pelosi could be attacked in a similar fashion in front of police officers inside his home shows you that no one's safe in this city. The uptick in violent crime in San Francisco has caused an uproar among San Francisco residents who are fed up because they are living in fear. You have no reason to be fed up. You're fed up with what? What you voted for? You asked for this. You voted for this, San Francisco. You wanted this to be your big swan song. To hell with society. Do it all what you want, man. Free love, free sex, drugs, rock and roll, man. We're a progressive city. Trans rights for everyone. And lo and behold, when somebody tries to speak, what happens to them? Welcome. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm still alive, you. I tweeted this out and there's only one person watching, apparently.
Yeah, it's probably just you.
Yeah, it's probably just me.
It is a Easter holiday. We're supposed to forgive our neighbors and be Christian-like.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
That doesn't mean you have to tolerate this kind of degenerate perversions of people.
Well, yeah, you mean that Labour thing about Rashid Sunak? Yes, I called him Rashid. Yeah, I might not like the man, but I will not call anybody a fucking paedophile without proof.
Who are the ones that are supporting the rainbow dildo butt
monkey? Every politician that's woke.
Okay.
That's on all sides of the spectrum.
Who are the ones that are supporting this?
But it is one for you. Labour have never stopped a kiddie fiddler.
No, that's very true. I mean, but this is the whole thing. This is the whole problem. You can't sit up there and act as if you're on the sidelines.
They're not doing it because they think it's right. They're doing it for the same reason that a kid would call you fatso in the playground. And yeah, I could have done well without saying that.
What do you mean by that? No, I'm just curious. What do you mean by that?
They're just yelling names at each other at the stage. They're not actually trying to score a political point, really. They're acting like children. Because
I think that they are trying to score political points because let's be honest, the electorate as a whole have been acting like and voting like children.
Not so much over here.
Entitled brats.
Not so much over here. I think we'd be mostly voting for what we think is going to do the country good. That's why Labour haven't gotten back in yet. Because we know if Labour get in again, you might as well say goodbye to the United Kingdom in whatever form.
You have an election coming up, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be fun trying to work out the vote for this time round.
Well, I still don't understand the voting process of why, if you are, I can understand a party electing their leaders. Okay, that to be honest, I don't have a problem. The problem I have isn't everybody who registered for the Conservative Party supposed to vote? And I was told no. Right?
Yes, they're supposed to. They're supposed to, but they weren't allowed that last time. Which
how do you change that?
Well, put it this way: when that happened, there was a hell of a lot of people cancelled their membership of the Conservative Party.
Well, that's understandable, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's not the majority of funding, but it's not a small amount that gets they get from that membership fee.
Well, how much is
Christ? I would have actually if put it this way, if I hadn't been an MP and I'd been rich, filthy, stinking rich, and I'd been a member of the Conservative Party and they'd pulled that one, I would have taken the bastards to court over it.
Well, yeah. Why didn't people? I mean, come on.
I
There's got to be
don't know.
some lawyers
They should have.
willing to work pro bono, right, on this kind of an issue. There has to be.
There has to be. Yep. Oh, and
At
sometime this
least
month
here in the
was
U.S. there would be.
supposed.
They'd be lining up, man.
Sometime this month was supposed to be getting this alert on our phones. On our,
Has that not taken place yet?
not yet. 24th, I think it is, something like that. No, the 23rd. I'll be taking my battery out of my phone on the 22nd.
Are you? Making sure you don't get the alert.
Yeah, but if you don't respond to the alert, they will block you from they will block your phone from the system. So if my phone isn't active at all, they can't.
That's not very helpful.
Also, apparently there's a rumor that I've heard going on there. I think this one's unfounded though. That they want us to chip our pets so that they can keep track of our pets. So yeah, because they want to get rid of our pets. Yeah, that would cause a fucking revolution over here.
Pets? What's the purpose behind getting
WEF.
rid of pets?
Apparently, the World Economic Forum, there's this guy reckons they're going to try and start another bird flu scare to keep people out of the countryside. I tell you, this world is on borrowed time at the minute.
Oh yeah, take a look at this. Army sergeant found guilty of murder in the 2020 shooting of a Texas protester. A Travis County, Texas jury, found a U.S. Army sergeant guilty of murder almost 3 years after he shot and killed an Austin protester, Garrett Foster. The jury convicted Sergeant Daniel Perry, 33, of murder on Friday. In 2021, Perry was indicted for murder, aggravated assault, and deadly conduct charges for shooting Foster during a July 2020 protest in downtown Austin. The jury also found Perry not guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after deliberating for 17 hours Thursday and Friday, following the 8-day trial. The indictment came 1 year after the Texans took to the street to protest police brutality following the murder of George Floyd, a black man killed by a white Minneapolis police officer. Oh, wait.
He wasn't.
All right, no, he wasn't. All right.
Wasn't that guy from?
They convicted him. They did convict him of murder, but first of all, there was only one white officer. They charged multiple people. Now, what was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, he got convicted of manslaughter.
Well, manslaughter is a type of murder. It's like second-degree murder.
Yeah, I know. But it's like it was an accident, bro, murder.
Well, no, it's second degree is not necessarily accidental, but
like if you hit and kill somebody with your car accidentally.
The fact is these people it was a jury. It was, in my opinion, a type of jury nullification that Mad Dog always wanted. Right? They were going to convict this guy no matter what because they were, first of all, they were afraid. They were afraid that their city would burn if they sit up there and took the one primary fact of that story, which was his body had a lethal dose of fentanyl, and
watching
yet you're
YouTube videos
me,
and put on, I know. Yeah, I know. Plus, he already had breathing problems anyway. He's a guy who, one of his tricks was he held up a pregnant woman by pointing a gun at her womb, literally.
Yeah. This guy was had a lethal.
He was a walking. Even his sister said he was a walking piece of shit.
Yeah, but what's more is how do you find reasonable doubt? How can you not find reasonable doubt that the man died when they admitted he had a lethal dose, died of being?
He was saying. He was saying, "I can't
breathe." Me, well, we know for a fact that this guy killed him when this guy had a lethal dose, which gave the exact symptoms that the guy was going through. All right, but you're going to sit up there and say beyond a reasonable doubt that these people killed him. Oh, and
No,
then came the excuses.
Nomad. He was saying I can't breathe while he was in the police car. That's why they took him out of the car.
I know.
To help, so he could get some
And
circulating
they
air.
also immediately called the ambulance and everything else. And they to this day, these people still sit up there and go, "Oh no, he was kneeling on his neck. He was kneeling on it. He wasn't kneeling on his neck. He was kneeling on his back. All right." And from the way I
Yeah.
saw it, it didn't look like they were putting a significant amount of pressure on it. It's impossible to tell exactly how much pressure. I will admit that. All right. Now,
There are still people out there who think that Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 3 black men for no reason whatsoever.
in this case,
Oh,
the person he shot was also white. All right.
on an aside,
But the reality is they don't care because we're going to convict this guy of murder. Meanwhile, the jackass in the Capitol building, all right, who shot an unarmed person just standing near a window, all right.
yeah.
Oh, he's not only exonerated, he's held as a hero.
Oh yeah, they were even talking about having a George Floyd holiday, weren't they?
You know, he's held as a freaking hero. It's amazing how that all works.
Saint Floyd.
Oh yeah, George Floyd is another. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Right,
How these things work.
the current Pope that's sitting in the Vatican would probably would actually is highly likely to try and canonize him. You ask me. Yeah, the Muslim Pope we've got.
Well, the Pope who missed Good Friday procession.
Yeah, like I said, the Muslim Pope we've got.
I don't think that no he's extraordinarily ill. People are saying, right? The reality is
The reality is he doesn't know what reality is.
I suspect that he's not long for the world. All right, but it is what it is, folks.
Oh, on an aside, I was in a Discord and we were talking about this shit, and I was playing videos, and I played ELOs all over the world, the flash mob one. Yeah, people just appear out of nowhere and start dancing. Now, can you imagine if instead of marching down the street and burning things, that's how Black Lives Matter conducted their protests?
Hell, it would have been very impressive.
I'm being serious here. If instead of causing riots and stuff, their protests involved giving a word to the coppers, right? Yeah, the day before. And then the following day, traffic isn't allowed down this certain area, right? And they just appear out of nowhere and start fucking dancing, right? They would have got a shit ton more support. Seriously. They would have got a hell of a lot more support, both socially, politically, and financially. Wait, both. Yeah, socially, politically, and financially.
Okay,
They would
but
have
in order
been
to do that, you got to celebrate to turn it into a celebration. The death of an individual to turn it into a celebration is you.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was started way before George Floyd.
No, I understand that. But if you're gonna if you're gonna celebrate the death of somebody, okay.
I could argue you're not celebrating the death; you're celebrating the life.
Well, that's my point. That's what I was trying to say. If you're gonna sit up there and dance and things like that, then you have to make it a celebration of the person's life.
Yep.
Who is celebrating George Floyd's life?
His family, because they're rolling in it now because of his death.
Well, they're not celebrating his life; they're celebrating his death.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
So, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
All right.
I've actually heard
I do know what you mean, but I'm exactly accurate. They're not celebrating his life.
I've actually heard his sister doesn't want anything to do with the money. The rest of his family have taken it.
I haven't heard anything about of that nature. About his sister not wanting the money.
It might be, I've just heard bogus, but I've heard it.
Yeah. But, and that's fine. I don't have an axe to grind from that standpoint. I really don't, because the family is suffering. Okay, the death in the family is a death in the family, regardless of how it occurs.
Be quiet. Got somebody in chat Don't be loud or you'll frighten them away.
Hey, Dark Star. Good afternoon. No, that's just the way it is. But it a lot of this stuff is just turned into a bunch of hedonistic perversion, right? Of people that are deranged.
Can you
Now,
hear me arguing?
there's a movie. I'm trying to remember the name of it. All right, one of the biblical movies back in the day, right? Where they're doing the story of Lot and his wife,
Oh yeah.
right? You
It
know
was.
what?
Hold on. I know the what. Was it John Ford's the Old Testament?
I don't know. I don't know what. I don't remember what the name
Because
of
he
it
was
was.
actually in it as Noah, if I believe.
And if you take a look at that, if you take a look at that, where they're trying to show Sodom as this depraved, city of sin, right?
Yeah, they just showed pictures of Los Angeles, didn't they?
Well, that's what it is. That's what I'm referring to now.
Yeah.
That right now is the core, the ones and the leadership of the DNC and the leftists
Right.
in this country.
All the sexual and other kinds of indulgences where yeah, allowing out of the closet, yeah, and stopping, yeah, and allowing it to be no longer taboo. They're exactly the same things that you saw happening in the Roman Empire when it started to fall apart.
Yes.
Exactly the same things you saw in ancient Greece, in Egypt, in every fucking civilization when it fell apart. Only
It
it's
is.
been speeded up in our civilization because of our communications technology. It's been
Yeah,
speeded up to the nth degree with us.
can't disagree with that. All right. Twitter restricts links to Substack newsletter platform. Twitter on Friday began restricting posts with links to Substack, a popular writing and newsletter platform. When users tried to like or retweet posts that linked to Substack, they received an error message saying some actions on this tweet have been disabled by Twitter. Substack's founders Chris Best, Hamish McKenzie, and Jarraj Seth said in a statement to The Verge that they were disappointed that Twitter has chosen to restrict writers' ability to share their work. Writers deserve the freedom to share links to Substack or anywhere else. This abrupt change is a reminder of why writers deserve a model that puts them in charge. Really? Except if they're conservatives, right? That rewards great work with money and that protects the free press and free speech. Hey, if you're worried about free press and free speech, then you should have started banning people. Well, what are you bitching about? Now, for the people who are saying aren't you a little bit hypocritical, no man, because you're saying that this should be free speech, and then you're supporting this. No, I'm not supporting it. I'm just pointing out that the people bitching and whining about it, for the most part, were the ones who were all cheering around when conservatives were getting kicked off the platform and being denied the platform services. And now you want this service to work for you for free. You can't have it both ways, assholes. You can't. No, I don't care. I
Nope.
don't know anything about Substack. Have you been on Substack at all, Batman?
I've never even heard of it until now.
All right. I mean, I imagine I could sit up there and try and find it, but I have no desire to go there. I'm not interested in reading people's supposed literary works. Okay. Now, as far as news and everything goes, if you have news that you want to talk about, fine.
That's another thing about our technology today. Once over, yeah, very few people are actually authors, especially published authors, who are actually making a living on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, most published authors, even back then, were writing absolute shite. But it was still shite that was, at some level, professional quality. Nowadays, anybody can be a published author. The amount of unreadable shite that is published as books, novels on Amazon is fantastic.
I don't know if I'd use the term fantastic.
Hey, sometimes something so bad is fantastic.
You and I have a different version of what
Hey, it'll be fantastically bad.
I got suspended 3 months ago, right? No reason given. maybe God knows how many appeals. And to this day, I'm still suspended. Twitter can eat shit. They are just a time waster. I can't disagree with that. Okay,
I can,
it was
but I'd be
one
lying.
thing when people were engaging back and forth with one another,
Mhm.
right? And it truly became a public square where people would vociferously go back and forth. All right, but it was that very back and forth that the leftists couldn't handle.
Understand.
It was that,
like, stand.
well, stand,
Yeah.
handle, stand, same difference, right? The when once that took place, once that happened, okay, it was, it was Katie bar the door, right? As soon as they did that, and everyone was going back and forth, and what was worse, or what was worse for the leftists is they were being shown for how vacuous and how unintelligent their arguments actually were. That all they could do is regurgitate propaganda.
Yeah. Right.
And the two groups that then said we can't have this, of course, were one, the leftists, because they were losing, and two, the fucking moderates. Part of my language. But the moderates were the ones that joined the leftists and said, "Oh, can't we all just get along? Oh, the discourse is just getting really bad. There's some bad people." Yeah, and a bunch of them were leftists, and you did nothing to get rid of them. Oh, you were all cheering, all right, when Alex Jones got hammered. All
Yep.
you moderates out there, well, he's over there. He's this, he's that. Okay, fine and dandy. All right, but
Look what happened when Meatloaf died. They were celebrating. Oh, he's a Christian. He died. He was a conservative. He died. Yay, he's dead. Yay.
That's very
Boss.
true, unfortunately. Let's get on to another story. Chasing horse sex abuse charges upheld. Drug crime dropped. Now, when I first saw this headline, I thought that there was a person named Chasing, all right, that had horse sex abuse charges leveled against him. But no, that's the guy's name, all right. A Nevada judge has thrown out a drug trafficking
Parents were
charge.
hippies.
Exactly. Drug trafficking charge against a former Dances with Wolves actor, but upheld a Las Vegas grand jury sweeping indictment of 18 sexual abuse related felony crimes.
Yep.
In an order issued on late Friday, the Clark
Right.
County District Court Judge Carly Kearney, all right, said state prosecutors presented enough evidence for a reasonable grand juror to conclude that the sexual assaults occurred, but found that there was no substantial testimony connecting Nathan Chasing Horse to psilocybin, that's what it is, mushrooms, right? Investigators found while searching his home.
Yeah, I just did a bit of a look. He definitely, parents were hippies. From the oldest hippie community in the world.
Yeah, no, but hold on a second.
Native Americans.
The judge here, I would like to get Carly to sit up there and explain this to us. All right, that there's no evidence connecting Nathan Chasing Horse to the psilocybin mushrooms found in his home. Did they just teleport in there?
Yeah. Obviously, what it is, it's a bunch of white cops decide to break into his house, beat him up a bit, right? Plant drugs and say they found him there.
I'm not saying that that's not a possibility, right? But that's
I'm also lying
the grand jury should have done something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing Horse 46 asked Kearney to toss the entire indictment, saying his accusers wanted to have sex with him. One of the women was younger than 16 years of age, the age of consent in Nevada, who, when she says Chasing Horse began abusing her. Dude, you're screwed. And not in the good way.
Yep.
Not in a sexual manner. You are toast. You're sleeping with a 15-year-old or less. You're
Yeah,
going down, dude.
Those kind of accusations. Oh, he had sex with me when I was underage 30 years ago. I don't. I hold them to a degree of suspicion.
Well, okay. There are some things that I think that are problematic. Okay.
There you go, losing the left word.
When you're dealing with age of consent, okay, and so forth, there's problematic language.
Yep, there's that lefty word again. Problematic.
Well, it's not lefty. It's reality. All right. Because
no, it isn't. I mean, yeah,
there are plenty.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people. All right. When now it's at the ages that you and I are at now, right?
Troublesome would be a better word.
Troublesome would be, yeah. That's a good word. Well, I'll agree with that. But the troublesome nature of this, is people. Look, if you're 22 years old, right, and you see a young lady, right, who seems to be fully endowed, and you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, we used to get.
You're in a bar. Hold on, and you're
yes,
in a bar.
Exactly. We've all been in that situation, and then oh god, there was one. I would be about 30 at the time. I was in this bar, my mates, saw this girl. She looked like she was 20, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 25 at a push. I started going on talking to her. And I found out I went to school with her fucking dad. Like I said, I would have been about 35, 36 at the time. So you can imagine how young she was.
Yeah. And that's the problem.
So God said, oh, hold on a minute. Just got to the bar. Told the barman how old she actually was and got her chucked out.
Yeah, that's great. But unfortunately, for some people, it's too late.
That's why I told the barman, because unfortunately for some person, it might have been too late.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree totally with you. But the problem is that that's what you were able to do. How many other people were smart enough to figure that out? Right?
Oh, most people aren't smart enough to figure that out until they get
Until it's too late.
I was lucky. I knew her dad. Most people have never met this girl or her family before, and it doesn't matter how smart you are, you get caught. Girl doesn't care. She's having a good time. She's having drinks and she's having sex.
Right, which you're not. That's why I think that we there has to be some of this stuff has to be taken into account. You know,
that's why those color crystals. That's why those color crystals I had in Logan's Run are a good idea.
Chip everybody with the little crystals so you know what age they are. Renew.
Yeah, just we'll let that bit slide, okay?
From The Intercept. Biden is fulfilling Trump's cruel policy on wild horses.
Runner.
The Biden administration was supposed to have been a reprieve from the Trump years, but for conservationists who want the wild horses of the American West to live long and prosper, this didn't happen. Well, first of all...
Hold on. First of all, they're not actually wild horses because, yes, horses evolved. Horses, as we know them today, evolved in North America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And crossed the land bridge into Asia and spread it from Asia into Europe, right?
That's true.
But when humans got into North America, the American horse became extinct.
That's true.
Because they ate them all. So horses in America aren't wild, they're feral.
Well, you can feral, wild, same difference.
Right,
Depends on how
feral is an originally domesticated population that's escaped and gone,
and then
gone
return to the wild. I
feral.
understand that.
Yeah.
Feral is a more descriptive nature, but wild is still an accurate term, right? Now, my problem starts with the fact that, as far as you're concerned, that by the way you just described this is an invasive species,
Right,
right?
they're not really. No,
No, they
horses
are.
aren't. They actually evolved in North America,
Yeah, but
so it's
they haven't been. They
it's a
weren't in
returning
America.
species.
They haven't been in America for tens of thousands of years. They evolved. They fully evolved outside of
Less than
America.
10,000 years actually, because like I said, it was the ancestors of the Native Americans crossing over the land bridge and getting into North
Yeah, but I think
America.
they're estimating that Americans actually that the first Native Americans actually transitioned into the continent. It's about
About
thirty
15,
thousand years ago.
no, it'll be less than that. About
No, they're saying 30,000 years ago now.
actually, yeah,
They have
30,000 years
about
ago.
50. Yeah. So for 30,000 years, approximately, horses were extinct, and the modern horses that you see here, right, did not exist here.
Yeah, because the modern horses that you see that you're calling wild horses, they look nothing like actual wild horses, which still exist in East, yeah, in Eurasia, I believe.
Perhaps, right? I don't know how what they actually look like. I haven't studied horses or anything. But as far
Hold
as
on.
their reintroduction into America, into the North American continent, they're an invasive species, and quite frankly, they're acting like an invasive species. Hi, Chris. Okay, they are acting like an invasive species. What do I mean by that? They are overgrazing areas to the point where they, they have mass dies and things like that. This what Mustang Roundup that they're talking about here, it's to protect the
Hmm.
land because the land is just getting destroyed by these things. Because there's no natural predators. That's one of the problems. The natural predators that used to exist in these areas, they're not running around like they used to. And what's more is this introduction is preventing successful reintroductions of other species that they're trying to reintroduce. So, and here you have, well, these conservationists. Oh, what the conservationists only go for 500 years or better? Is that when you go for it? Is that the time limit you place on it? You know, because horses didn't exist. All right, when Columbus landed in America or landed on the islands in the East Indies.
Right, hold on. Oh, you there? I'll drop this in genitals. I mean, general. There, it's a picture of an actual what a wild horse actually looks like. I want to say in general, I mean in like the
Yeah,
the
no,
text.
I realize that. I
So,
just realize it slowly. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say they don't look anything like it. They don't. But I'll tell you one more thing. If I
they look
remember
more like
correctly,
donkeys.
the single where the single toed hooves, right, that are on the animals today. If I remember correctly,
Hmm.
they were three toed animals when they at the time, right?
Yep.
So look, if you want to put a stop to this, right, then you should at least admit the fact that these are an invasive species. We got all those problems and everything, and we gotta save the animals. You
In
know?
all seriousness, I don't know enough about yeah, yeah, American ecology to make a comment here and there. So I'll have to err on the side of what you and Darkstar are saying and agree with you. But when it comes to wolves, then that's a completely different matter. Wolves are part of your ecology and shouldn't be called the way they are. And hello, Chris Knoll.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
Dark story here. Back in the 70s, they culled some of the wild horse herds, and you could actually buy horse meat in the supermarket, which is true for a short period of time. All right.
yeah.
And to be
Just,
honest,
hey,
the
just because you don't have the Dutch over there, there'd be no
uh,
wild
the,
horses left in America.
the question I've always had is all right. Why don't people eat horse meat today? Right.
The same reason we don't eat dog meat now.
Well, dogs are carnivores.
It
Horses
doesn't
are.
matter.
Well, it
It doesn't.
depends on the. It does because
No,
of how the meat.
seriously, no, it doesn't matter. But our primitive ancestors, they ate dogs,
That's
wolves,
true. That's very true. All right, they ate
and
anything
uh,
they could kill and eat. That's true.
dogs and
They
bears are closely related. If you go hunting, you'll go hunting for bear for meat, won't you?
bears are
That's it.
omnivores.
No, bears are much more carnivorous and omnivorous.
They eat whatever they can get their hands on. Right.
Yeah,
So
much preferably meat.
well no they'll destroy berry patches and all sorts of things. They will eat
Yes, yes, they'll destroy
wide
berry
variety
patches.
of
Yep.
fruits and vegetables as well.
Oh yeah, they'll just like you say, they'll destroy berry patches and orchards, especially if they're chasing that fat kid.
Yeah. Well, and that as well. That's true. Ready for the next story? We've only got 3 left. You ready? This
Nope,
one's right up
do
your
it
alley,
anyway.
Batman.
Oh God, I hate the way you said that.
Phony vanity plate trips up motorist. A New Jersey man riding a motorcycle with a phony license plate reading "Bend Over" led Florida cops on a high-speed chase that ended with the suspect crashing his ride. Court shows. What makes you think you're going to get away on your motorcycle from the police? Once the police start giving chase, all right, you're not going to get away. You're not going to get away.
Nope,
All
not
right.
especially not in this day of information technology.
Police
As
said that
soon as you're
Justine.
as soon as you're tagged with a camera, as soon as your license plate is fed into into the system, that's it. Yeah, might as well just turn off the engine, coast to the side of the road, and put your hands in
Well,
the
in
air.
this case, it was a phony plate. But Justin Miranda, 20, was spotted Sunday evening operating a motorcycle that had a fake New Jersey tag. When Clearwater Police Department officer approached Miranda on foot at a red light, the Newark resident looked over at me and restarted the bike.
Mhm.
Miranda, seen at the right, then allegedly ignored "stop police orders" and sped through a steady red light.
I've got to go back to the previous article there, just to address Darkstar there. He says there are better options like beef, chicken, etc. The horse meat wasn't bad, but it's nowhere as good as beef. Yeah, now imagine if when we domesticate the cattle, we'd use them for riding, and when we domesticate the horse, we'd use them for meat. You'd be
Yeah,
saying the reverse now.
yeah. Well, okay. Let's good. We're gonna have to pause this. We'll get back to this later. Why didn't we do that?
I think we actually domesticated horses before we domesticated cattle. Cattle are a lot more wild cattle. Actual wild cattle are a lot more aggressive than wild horses,
Well,
and a lot more powerful.
the first things that we domesticated, if I'm not mistaken, were ox.
Mm.
Right, and oxen and cattle and horses. The difference between the three, all right, is
Hold on, yeah,
the
you're
amount
right.
the amount of meat, all right,
Yeah.
available on a cow versus the amount of meat that was available on a horse, right?
The other thing is,
For the total as a percentage of total weight.
yeah, but horses
It
now are
was
twice as
higher.
big as their pre-domesticated ancestors, right? But
That's true.
hold on. And I mean, originally, oxen were used to pull carts and plough fields and stuff like that, not horses.
That's true. That's
And
very true.
have you seen? We call them dray horses in the UK. That
Yeah.
used to basically the heavy haulage version of horses. They're bigger than any oxen, and they've got more meat on them than any cow.
Well, that might be true now. Like I said, at the time though,
But
during the
if
domestication process.
if we'd actually bred horses for meat instead of for riding, dray horse we've got now would be small in comparison.
I also think that there's another factor involved, and
Probably a lot of different factors
frank.
that I'm not
A
taking into
horse,
consideration.
you look at a horse and you look at a cow, and a horse looks
Horses
far
are
more majestic.
horses are bred for speed.
I know they are, but
Cattle are bred for
even a
cattle are bred
zebra,
for stamina.
a
Yeah,
zebra.
I mean naturally, I should say.
Yeah. Well, take a look. For example, let's go to Africa for example. Right? You have a zebra, right, and then you have a buffalo, a water buffalo.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Which one looks majestic, and which one looks like, you know what? If I kill you, I'm eating your ass because you look mean.
Yeah. And which one looks rideable? Which one looks like if you try and ride me, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, you know what?
The horns are a deterrent to riding. Let's be perfectly frank.
Another good point, Darkstar. But do you know why they never domesticated zebras for riding? They're too aggressive, and their backs aren't nearly strong enough.
Yeah, they're a very aggressive species. They really are. All right, back to the news. Back to this story. All right. Moments after fleeing the police, Miranda was involved in a motorcycle crash, after which he was transported for treatment to a local hospital. After being read his Miranda rights, Miranda, who works in car sales, opted to remain silent. He was charged with felony fleeing count for high speed and wanton disregard when trying to evade cops. Jail records also indicate that Miranda, who is being held in the county lockup, is a fugitive in connection with a parole violation count in his home state. In other words, the real reason he was running. But if you think you're going to get away from the police, folks, you're never going to get away from the police. Right?
No.
You're not. All right? There's something called overwhelming force. Guess what? That's going to be applied to you. That's what the police do. I don't know why this is so hard to understand. If you want to think that the police are abusing you and everything else, and you're gonna catch hell, running from them isn't gonna protect you from the beating that's coming. Seriously, if you have a bad cop and he wants to beat you, okay, running from him ain't gonna help.
Nope.
You're still gonna get beat.
Running from them is just gonna be, only worse.
Right. So what's the point of running from the police?
Maybe
I realize there's a panic factor that gets involved. People panic.
Maybe it was foreplay.
I don't think it's necessarily going to talk about foreplay. All right.
Hey, he was speeding away, giggling.
Second to last story. Moose feasts on lobby plants in Alaska hospital building. Let's take a look at this. And you have Mr. Moose. Look at the security guard just sitting there. What am I going to do? Nothing.
Chris Knowles saying,
Here, we'll move the chair.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I've got to see.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah, that chair's going to help you.
Well, it did scare the moose, right? So this moose walks into a medical building.
That's the last thing you want to do is scare the moose.
I know, right? While that could be a setup for a bad joke, it actually happened in Anchorage on Thursday. A young moose trudging through the snow looking for a meal spotted green plants in the lobby of a medical building. All right, in Providence, Alaska's Health Park, it decided to drop in for a dose of greenery. The ingenious or lucky moose triggered the sensors on the automatic doors. Now, that's really tough to do. All right, triggered the sensors on the automatic doors to the building that houses the hospital's cancer center and other medical office, said Randy Hughes, the hospital's director of security. We received a call from one of our tenants advising that a moose had just walked into the building. Hughes believes
You
it's
know,
the same moose that's been hanging around the campus, probably attacking other unsuspecting buildings for their leafage. All right. And even though the moose are commonplace in Alaska, they made an announcement over the intercom that the moose is president or they made an announcement out of concerns, safety concerns. Look, these are large animals and they are wild. And if they get angry, you're a road patty.
yep.
You know,
I think the thing I would have done is I would have pushed those fucking plants into the moose's vicinity.
this is
Fuck it.
this shows the moose here chewing away at the leaves. And then he's looking at the guards. Now take a look at this. That moose is like looking at you, going, "You're a road patty. You come any closer,
Yeah.
and I'm going to run you over." That's what that look is.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's
You know,
that's pretty evident that the moose would come in to try and eat. I'm wondering, are these plants? Do you know if these plants are poisonous?
I don't think so. One of them's a fern.
I mean, imagine that the moose would be able to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be kind of bad. Could you imagine the poor guy who they're trying to rush him into the hospital? The ambulance crew's trying to rush him in the door, and there's a moose looking at you.
Hey, imagine if it was a blind guy walked in.
Oh my god! With that cane, click, 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 and whack.
Oh, me and Darkstar just saying there. Yeah, imagine if we domesticated lions or tigers for riding purposes. That wouldn't have been as dangerous as if we domesticated moose for riding purposes.
I don't know about.
I mean, how dangerous would a war moose be?
First of all, I mean, a full-grown male lion could support a human's weight, right? But a female lion, there's no way a female lion could support the average human's weight for any kind of riding purposes, right? So I don't think that would have been nearly as effective.
Pygmies could have done it.
Pygmies were the snack for these things. I don't think. Let's be perfectly honest. I don't think pygmies were out there going, "Hey, let's try to ride the lion." I don't think they were looking at that. Wait, I don't think that was part of their natural.
Actually, there's a tribe of pygmies that they live in the tall grass in Africa. They would have done it. They call them the Alawi.
They tried to eat. They tried to kill the lions because the lions would try to kill them.
No,
they had a hate relationship with the lion.
No, they call them the Alawi because they live in the tall grass. Yeah, and they keep jumping up and down, shouting, "We're the Alawi."
like the F Troop Indians from the show F Troop with the Hakawi.
Yeah,
the Hakawi tribe. All right, final story of the day.
God, I used to love the Wrangler Jane in that.
This is evolution. This is evolution, folks.
What is evolution?
Buffalo calf, all right, born with bear-like claws. A buffalo calf looked quite different from the rest of the herd. Was spotted. The calf was born with a disease called hyperkeratosis, which that results in bear-like claws instead of hooves and abnormally thick legs. You mean paws? Pam Bruce Brandt, while on her annual bush vacation, came across this strange sight and shared it in latestsightings.com. While driving in the Central Kruger National Park in South Africa on the S900 or S90, towards attempt to pronounce that water hole. All right, we came across a massive herd of buffalo grazing. Now here's the buffalo. Look at the size of these things. First of all, does that look
Well,
like you're
all
gonna
I'm
want to
seeing
try
is
to
a
ride
Coors
that?
Light advert.
Right?
Yeah, all I'm seeing is a Coors Light ad.
Are you? Why are you seeing just a Coors Light ad?
Yeah,
Should be
because
seeing
you
the whole
moved
thing.
you wound it down. There we go. Now I can see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, take a look at this thing. That does look like a claw.
Yeah, it also looks like it's
You
having
see?
trouble walking.
And yeah, unfortunately, this animal is probably not gonna survive. But
No.
can you imagine this thing with claws on it too? Can you imagine what kind of a terrifying creature that would be with bear claws?
Yeah, can you imagine if it could walk upright as well?
I mean, that would be frightening. You never know. I mean, this is it's how do we do this? It's evolution, folks. It's evolution.
No. That's just like you said. It's not going to survive. That's not evolution. That's a disease.
Well, or a genetic mutation is what it could be. It's unfortunate for this creature that it's not going to survive.
Yeah. Oh,
So let me ask you a question, Batman. Total non sequitur. All right. To this.
hold on a second. Darkstar. Mongols Rising Tigers. Yeah, that would have been really great. But all you'd have to do, you got this this Mongol tiger cavalry flying towards you. You use your trebuchets to fire beefsteaks at them, right? And they just that's it. All cohesion's gone. The tigers you go for the beef. The riders try to stop. The tigers attack the riders. You've won.
You got a good point there. That actually could that actually could be one of the results of something like that. But let me ask you a question, Batman. Have you seen the D&D the new D&D movie?
Broke up there.
Have you seen the new D&D movie?
No, and it's likely that I won't.
Why? Just out of curiosity.
I didn't like the first two.
Oh, okay. What were the first two?
The first two was Dungeons and Dragons, and the second one was Dungeons and Dragons. The something of somethingness.
Was that based on the cartoon?
They were apparently supposed to be based on the game, not the cartoon, the game.
I did go see it. I was asked to go see it with my daughter who wanted to see it.
Okay. Nowadays, I'm surprised it wasn't called Dungeons and Drag Queens.
To be honest, all right. First of all, for those people who claim that it's just a bunch of woke nonsense, there is woke in it. You can't deny it. All right, but in reality, though, it wasn't the kind of woke that's in your face. Okay, it's a woke of the presentation. Okay, so you don't have a bunch of cliff-haired freaking biddies sitting up there preaching to the man about how bad he is.
Yeah, you got that in Shazam too, Fury of the Gods. I saw that yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get that. You didn't get that. Now, what they did do is they had role reversal, right? The big powerful barbarian is a woman, right? The druid is a woman who sits up there and can turn into, for spoilers for people, right? And it can turn into various animals.
Right? Yeah, I don't know how druids work.
All right.
I suspect all the powerful
things that the things about the show that I liked and disliked, right, were, like I said, the wokeness that was not bad. The plot, believe it or not, was non-existent. Decent.
Was it? Okay. Fucking hell.
The dialogue was horrific.
Yeah.
And now that's going to sound strange. The acting was really good, given the dialogue was just so cheesy. Okay.
That surprises me.
The actors and the actresses, did a good job with the material that they had. Right, the plot was okay. I thought it was fairly solid. The implementation with the dialogue between the characters though was it was bad. Right, it was just because the dialogue is just stupid. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there a lot of people were saying that they didn't like the CGI. I thought the CGI was more than adequate. It was fairly decent. Okay. Um, the sequence where the druid turns into the owl bear, best portrayal of owl bears I have ever seen. Really
Probably the only
impressive.
portrayal of owlbears you've ever seen.
Well, no, I mean, but from the standpoint of how to imagine it and everything else, and how dangerous owl bear should be, perfectly well done. Perfect. There are other scenes, however, that were just terrible. Right? They tried to introduce certain things like the Underdark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the Underdark supposed to be populated with?
Dark elves.
Right.
Oh god.
There were no dark elves.
Yeah, because they would be politically incorrect.
I don't know if they were because they would be incorrect, but there were no dark elves. Right. That was disappointing. That was very disappointing to me. I was looking forward to the dark elves. I was looking forward to the violet colored eyes dark elves. I really was. Didn't see those. Other
Yeah, well, it
creatures
would
that
be
they had in the D&D world, though, they did
dark
perform.
elves in. Put dark elves in, that would be portraying feminazis in a bad light.
I don't think.
It would be though, wouldn't it? I mean, seriously.
I've never seen a feminazi with purple eyes. Right? I mean, just.
Hey, it starts with the hair and it seeps down.
But I would have. I thought that was okay. All right. Other animals that they had that are part of the monster manuals, right? They did show, and a halfway decent. It did a halfway decent job with it, right? Really, really did a halfway decent job with it. I thought that was okay. That kind of now, like I said, the dialogue was substandard, right? So if you can get past the dialogue and you just go in there just to watch the action, they did keep it moving a little bit too much, to be honest. Character development was a bit disjointed. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but overall, I would give the movie a C plus or C minus. Between a C minus and C plus, depending upon what you're focused on. Right? Was it worth seeing it? I don't think any movies worth seeing with the prices nowadays in the theaters. But
No.
that's a separate issue, right? That's a separate issue. All right, but what it did surprise me is their commentary about the woke stuff was that the writers put in. The writers did not take an antagonistic point of view with this. It was just that the storyline, like I said, was playing the gender flip game, right?
Yeah.
Where
It's kind of boring.
which is it is boring because it's so overdone, right? But they didn't. It doesn't affect things because, like, for example, having a female barbarian, I don't have a problem with that, right? Um, and the way the context were with the rest of this, I really didn't have much of an argument there with it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Hugh Grant, right, and his characterizations, he did a
Fuck
great
Hugh
job
Grant.
acting for the most part.
Fuck Hugh Grant.
Right.
Woke bastard.
I really thought that overall, the sequence that they utilized was halfway decent.
He's an Englishman who has resided for 30 years, 40 years almost in the United States, and he is one of the people who is behind the movements to overturn Brexit. Fuck Hugh Grant. And hey, he was going out with fucking Liz Hurley. And got caught in the back of a fucking Volkswagen Beetle with an ugly fucking black prostitute. Fuck Hugh Grant. He's an idiot.
Of that, I have very little doubt.
I mean, if you were going out with Liz Hurley, especially in her heyday, in her prime, Would you have gone off with some fat, ugly black prostitute?
Uh,
Nor would I.
right. But Tiger Woods' wife or ex-wife, what's her name?
I don't know.
You should recognize it.
Dark Star. I wish they'd make a movie based on the
Ella
Elite
Nordgren.
Nordgren.
Yeah, Nordgren.
Oh God, who's turned up?
Who do you think?
Oh God, it's Shallow Sevener.
Welcome, Sixer.
Yeah, he's probably come
Hello,
back
how
from
are
watching the
you?
Wheelchair Olympics.
Hope you're alright then, MC. Fuck you, Batman. Sorry for swearing.
It's all right, we swear on the show all the fucking time.
That's alright. I'm being polite, unlike you, Batman.
Batman is being Batman. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
Batman being his normal.
Yeah,
As normal as can be for Batman, anyway. Yeah.
Six is upset with us because I nearly made him choke to death last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
What did
just-
you
Well, as
do?
far as I'm imagining as well.
Well,
Live
what?
on air.
He's eating food live on air. I said,
Yep.
Sixer. Yeah. Can you remember when I made that comment about the Wheelchair Olympics and their hurdles team?
Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
it.
Yep. I mean, just imagine it. Yeah, there'd be hurdles, wheelchairs, and bodies everywhere.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Sixer. All right. How is
Yes,
your leg?
man.
Is your leg all right?
Well, let's put it this way: it doesn't look like there's somebody implanted a softball into the skin. It's now all very fat and very bruised.
Okay.
Ah, right.
But
So
that's a good thing.
How did you sprain
it? Stepping off a forklift. So I stepped down, didn't lay my fat foot flat, so I was at an angle. So my ankle went one way, I went the other.
It's something that anybody could do. Yeah, you've got my joking apart. You have my sympathies.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Now back to the
agree.
joke. You should have. Now back to the joke. You should have got yourself a crutch. A crutch.
I did. But
let me
afterwards.
finish. You should have got yourself a crutch, an eye patch, and a parrot.
Why the eye patch?
Because he's calling me a parrot. I mean a pirate.
But he's not a
Yeah, it's English humour. We always say that when somebody injures their leg or something. Don't be Sixer. There's always allusions to being Long John Silver.
I'm not talking to you.
No, shouldn't you be saying, "Oh, we be not talking to we"?
No, I'm just not talking to you. MC, check your DMs. I've just given you the update of my icon. Do you want to change that? Yeah.
Oh yes, I got that. Friend and her father came around there this morning. Got that mattress up the stairs.
Oh, you was telling me about that yesterday,
Yeah.
weren't you?
It took 3 of us. It was that heavy.
Cool, Bennett.
I mean,
What's it made of to be so damn heavy? I take it it's a king size bed mattress or something. Yeah. Why so? Even a king size bed isn't that.
It's double the size of the previous one, right? Double the thickness of the previous one, right?
Yeah.
I think it's got more material in it than the other one. And
yeah.
The other one, like before they came around, I'd gotten that one off the bed, put it in the spare room, no problem. This one, it took 3 of us.
It's a bar steward, yeah.
Yeah, but it's as comfortable as hell.
Mm.
Oh yeah, no matter.
It better be after taking 3 of you. How many 3 days to get it up the stairs? Yeah, it better be bloody comfortable.
Oh, hold on, yeah, I was going to say, Nomad, British and proud. Yeah, I got a free mattress on Friday.
What kind? What size?
King size.
King size.
King size.
That's the one that took you forever to get up the stairs. Yeah, the
Yeah.
three of you.
I think king size beds are just, to be honest, they're too big.
Yeah, but once you've gotten used to sleeping in them, going back
yeah.
to a single bed's almost impossible.
Oh yes, going back to
Mm.
even a twin bed for me, from a queen to a twin
Yeah.
is difficult. Because you definitely do get used to that. There's no doubt about that. But what did they give you for your ankle?
Well, lots of painkillers. I got one of those type moon boot type things you put on, you strap around the ankle for when I'm walking around. Crutches.
What kind of painkillers did they give you? Just Motrin?
Hold on.
Well,
Codamol.
yeah, we're in the UK, so kind of painkillers we'll get are usually just placebos anyway.
Well,
We're
these
well
are-
hard.
trust me, these are not placebos. I'm not used to pain medicine because I never use them as much. But go on, Bennett. It knocks me for a loop.
Strongest
Yeah.
pain medication I use is Nurofen, the liquid capsules.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I only use them if I've got a fucking migraine.
I mean, I use this before I go to bed because it does knock me out. But after the rest of the day, I use ibuprofen and paracetamols.
Yeah,
Just basically
ibuprofen
help
is
with the
a-
inflammatory because the ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory, so that's perfect.
Well, ibuprofen does have some anti-inflammatory.
Actually,
parts to
no,
it,
it doesn't.
But to be honest, it's
You're
more of a muscle.
Inflammatory. What's inflammatory?
Ibuprofen. I mean, if you're taking them regular, some people do. They actually cause swelling, especially right around the feet and ankles because they fuck up your circulation.
Yeah, but they're more of a muscle relaxing. Naproxen sodium
They're-
and naproxen is
They're
much
a
more
pain
of a-
deadener.
is
Ibuprofen
much
is
more of Go ahead.
Nomad. Ibuprofen is a pain deadener.
I found that naproxen sodium does a much better job to reduce swelling. All right. There's only one time
Really?
that I ever took any kind of quote unquote pain medicine, real pain medicine. All right. And that's one time when I was in the service still. I had the kind of back spasm that you hear about, right? Where you see a guy
Yeah.
who's bent over and he can't stand up and things like that. It's the only time I've ever had a back spasm. Was this one time, and it lasted about 2 weeks. And they initially said, okay, here's your Motrin, which they give you the horse pill Motrin, and then they prescribed Valium to me, right? And so after a couple days of Valium and everything else, I walked back in and said, what the hell is this stuff supposed to do? Because Valium is literally having no effect on me whatsoever. So they said, it's not having any effect at all? I said, no, it's not affecting any of this stuff. They said, okay, we'll give you this. And they gave me a pill called Indocin.
And that's when he started seeing unicorn.
And well, no, that didn't take away the pain,
But it made it fun.
It made it that you couldn't care because you couldn't think.
Right, it said it made fun.
Yeah. So it dropped a few IQ points, did it?
That's the thing I found, especially when I was a kid. Yes, kids recover from sprains and twisted ankles a lot quicker than adults. But
yeah,
you got a bag of, especially when you had a fridge freezer, or even better, a full freezer. Got a bag of garden peas out of the freezer, and some some duct tape, and you strapped it to your ankle.
Yeah, that's what they did when I initially got home. When I initially got home, I did the first thing we got a bag of peas, and that was it, wrapped in a towel and rolled straight on it.
Yeah, because it gets rid of the swelling,
Yeah.
gets rid of the pain. And, it gets rid of the pain because it's made all the fucking nerves numb.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you can't go to work with some frozen peas wrapped around you. You can't go.
Certainly can't try and sleep with a bag of frozen peas wrapped around your ankle, especially when they thaw out.
Yeah.
I had
They become
one
mushy
real
peas.
I had one real bad ankle sprain while I was in the service.
They
And
become mushy peas after a while.
that's where I learned that when your ankle swells up, it can swell up to the point where just touching the skin is painful.
Yeah.
You
Mate,
know?
any doctor will tell you shouldn't try and reduce the swelling. The swelling is there for a reason.
Mm.
That's your body reacting to protect the injured part.
Yeah. Well, it's looking good for my ankle because it's starting to bruise, which means it's a good sign. It means that the healing is.
It'll be all
on the
purple
way.
I
for a while, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
remember when I was a kid, badly spraining my ankle more than once. I mean, you do when you're kids.
Oh yeah,
really badly spraining my ankle, and it lasted a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't. The only time, like I said, I ever had my ankle when I did badly sprain it when I was in the army. That was because I was doing a timed run, all right, for a 2 mile run, and they had us going around an area, and there was a pothole that I didn't see, and I stepped in it and rolled.
Oh, is that the
That
time
hurt
when they
like
thought
that hurt like a son of a bitch.
was that the time when they thought that California was going to have the big one when you fell over?
No. I was not nearly so heavy when I was in the military. You can't be. You cannot carry that extra weight when you're running all the time.
I've seen sergeants and sergeant majors who carry that weight in
Not if
both
they're
the
running
British and
every day.
American Army.
I guarantee you they're not running every day.
Yeah,
they're not running miles every day.
they're probably desk soldiers.
Yeah. Sure, at a desk, yeah, you can gain weight very quickly.
I mean,
but when you're running and
batting,
very active, you are burning through all those calories very very quickly.
my dad told us back when he was just in the army in the 50s and early 60s. Even soldiers who were basically clerical staff, they had to keep fit, physically fit.
Well,
They were soldiers first. They were fucking office workers second.
right.
Now it's the other way around.
Isn't it?
Yeah, the military today is. I don't know what the military is today. To be honest. I don't think I can.
Well, there is that clip. There is that clip. Six has got off Hotman. Show you what the military of today is like.
Yeah.
I don't see
I
any difference.
Puffery in my entire life.
I don't see any difference in the military today than what you're seeing in Mulvaney. That Dylan Mulvaney for Nike, the commercials and everything.
Actually, I see a lot of similarities in there in the Western armies of today that I see in F.
Do you see where?
Where
in
you went
F
there?
Troop.
Oh, an F Troop. I think the F Troop was a lot more freaking competent than freaking the military today.
Do you know what the best thing about? Do you know what the best thing about F Troop was?
What?
Wrangler Jane.
Regular Jane.
Hey, she told the producers that she was 18 to get that part, and she was only 16, I believe.
Sorry, what's this?
F Troop.
F Troop. If you ever seen it,
Never heard of
it's
that.
an old TV show.
All right.
It started off black and white and then transitioned to
Yeah.
colors. That's how old it
All
was.
right.
Forrest Tucker and was it
Yes.
Denver Pyle? Larry Storch.
Larry Storch. Yeah. Larry Storch. Were the primary characters, and then who is the captain?
Ken Berry. He used to get in a lot of. He was in a few of the Herbie movies, I believe.
Yep.
Wilton Palmer.
It was
Fort Courage.
It was actually a decent sitcom. All right.
It was.
I forget. And they poked fun at everybody. Right. There was nobody they didn't poke fun at. The female I don't know if you call her protagonist, but
65 to 67
/ non-love interest.
Who was and she was more competent than all of the men.
Yes, that's very true. Well, I wouldn't say that they were competent. Because the other guys are just corrupt.
No, they were incompetent.
I wouldn't say Forrest Tucker's character was incompetent. He was just corrupt.
He was lazy.
That's true. He was
Yeah,
lazy.
it's a Czech general. There she is, Melody Patterson,
Hold on.
as she was.
In general, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, she was
Oh
much
my.
prettier when she had the long hair done.
Well, she's got long hair, just up, I believe.
Yeah, maybe.
Rip crack away, rip crack away, rip crack away.
Yeah, I would have done her 9 days till Sunday and then come back for the following
Definitely
week.
would not kicked her out of bed.
Yeah,
unless
the
she
other way
opened her
around.
mouth.
I was going to I would have lassoed her and drag her back in. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I don't think that's going to work in today's society.
No,
no,
that's
anyway,
for sure.
it's about time to end the stream.
Oh,
Appreciate everybody coming out. All right, thank you for showing up, Sixer.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
yeah. Thanks for coming out, you fucking lazy bastards. Took your fucking time getting here, didn't you? Now,
All
shut
right.
off.
I had other things to do, mate.
All right,
I
everybody.
wasn't
We'll
talking to
talk to y'all
Victor.
later. Bye bye, everyone.
Yeah, whoever's left, go away.
Fuck off.
And we're done.